Jess Connolly, and you are listening to the Go and Tell Gals podcast. We exist to equip and encourage kingdom women who are using their God-given gifts for the good of others and the glory of God. If you are a mom, a student, an artist, a doctor, we are hoping that this episode will leave you encouraged and ready to run. We're so glad you're here. Let's go. Hello, friends. It's Jess and Anna, and we are thrilled to be here on a short podcast episode with you called 4 Steps to Process This Past Year. Listen, we're goals girls, we're New Year girls, but you can't move forward in the new year without processing the past. Amen?
Definitely not.
Not if you want to be healthy. We got to look back. And so we really just have 4 quick questions, 4 invitations, if you will, for you to look back on your 2022 and see where God was moving, what was happening, and just take a moment to process. Maybe send this episode to a friend and say, listen, let's talk about this before the year ends, or maybe grab a journal and talk to God about it. Whatever you do, here are 4 prompts for you to process the past year. Number 1, if you have ever listened to the Go and Tell Gals podcast, it will sound very familiar to you. It's a phrase we use a lot, and we want to invite you to count the fruit. What we mean by counting the fruit is that we are just thanking God for what He did this year. So this is a big part of our team process. We are always continually counting the fruit, but when we take our end of year team retreat, which we just got back from, the first thing we did on our team retreat is pull out a whiteboard and start counting the fruit. So for us, we'll list personal things, we'll list business things, we'll list big things, and we'll list small things, but we'll just start naming off, here are the things that we noticed God do. To come up with that list, sometimes we'll look back at Instagram or our journals or our calendars or even our email inbox to see, let's see if we can remember what was happening in February and March. Let's look at our calendar from April and May and see if we can remember just a few of the things that God did, or some of the helpful blessings that we experienced in our life this year. So we have a few of our own examples to help start jogging your memory. And here are mine. I would say our team bonded a lot this year. We had a really healthy team going into 2022, but I feel like this year we really became great friends.
Yeah.
And that was a huge blessing to me. I would say a big one for me personally is that God held our family together through a lot of transition.
A lot.
We had just a really intense year that has been intense right up until right now. And actually last night I realized I think today marks the longest season I will have been in my house without leaving for a night since June.
Wow.
So that's how much transition we've had, because I happen to not be leaving my house for the next 30 days. And that'll be the first time that's happened since June. And I'm very, very grateful. And then my massive thing of counting the fruit is that I saw Adele in concert in June, and it changed my life. And I'm going to talk about it later in the podcast too. What about you?
Yeah, I like to think through big things and small things. So small things for me are and these aren't actually small, but compared to huge life events, they're they're smaller things.
Yeah.
I think about lots of trips that I got to see my family. I don't live right by my family. And so this year I got a few extra trips with them, whether they came out and saw me or I got to sneak away and see them. And so that felt really big. Getting to really intentionally celebrate birthdays with people I love, things like that. I love to count the fruit and think about. Big things being that, just that I'm having a baby.
Woo! Woo, 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 woo.
Really, once that happens, that's really all you can think about for the whole everything.
It's all I've been able to think about for 3 months.
Yep.
I didn't steal it as one of the things.
Longer than that, but
yes, you a little longer. I didn't steal it as one of the things I'm counting the fruit, but it is.
Well, that was nice of you to not big salad me. Do you guys know the big salad reference?
If you know what big salad means, you could work on the Go and Tell Gals team, because it's a phrase we often use.
You know.
What else for you?
I'm going to be honest, once you hit that, it's really kind of all you can think about.
Praise God. I'm so grateful. Oh, we have 2 pregnant team members out of 5 right now. And it is
That's a lot.
What you need to know about our office is we have the best snacks.
We do have a lot of snacks.
And I love it.
And a lot of flexibility with meetings and things. Just in case.
Yes. Okay. The second invitation, the second prompt for you to think through as you process 2022 is a little bit less fun.
Yeah.
But I want you
vulnerable one.
A little bit vulnerable. I want you to think about what didn't work this year. What didn't go well? What did not go as you hoped or as you planned? I have really 2 big ones, but then I have 2 kind of smaller ones. And I would say mine are kind of mixed in mixed in personal and business. My first is that my quiet time with God was probably the worst it's ever been in my adult Christian life. I think a lot of my rhythms of spending time with God just kind of got thrown off, and I am bummed. And so I'm just taking a minute to let myself feel that of like, God, I'm sorry. That was not great for me. That is not how I wish this year had gone. My other big one is that I would say in general, I don't feel like I made my health a priority for most of the year. I kind of struggled with my autoimmune disease on and off, but I just had a hard time really taking care of my body as a number 1 priority. And that's an important thing to me. So those are my 2 big ones. I would say number 3, what did not work for me was worrying about the Instagram algorithm. I don't want to spend another day of my life worrying about that. And I spent a lot of time this year being like, what is wrong with the internet? Why does this thing that we used to understand, we don't understand anymore? And then another semi-small thing, but it really logistical for us is I realized this year, in the year of our Lord 2022, that my kids working on Saturday is not working for me. Yeah. And my kids are not happy about maybe moving to a schedule where they don't work on Saturdays anymore because they're teens and they want to make money. But I can't live like this anymore.
Yeah. At least until they can drive themselves there or something.
Yeah. But we have literally no family time. Yeah. So we're going to rewrite some of those rhythms in 2023.
Yeah. For me, I have one that's like highly tactical and one that is a little more nebulous is the word we use. The first one is that I feel like I tried multiple times very hard to like revamp like a daily routine, having like a really great like morning and evening routine and good rhythms there. And I just realized that I got really bossy about my bedtime. It wasn't going to work. So yeah, trying to revamp my daily routine without changing my bedtime and being willing to not be a night owl and have FOMO at night and just make myself go to bed. That wasn't working.
Yeah.
The other thing that I just really realized was not working is comparison. I think I had a lot of moments of different things comparing my life to other people's. I think we all do that in some level. But when I look back on the year, I just know that there were a lot of different seasons, whatever they were, where either like my life stage or my house or, wherever I was, whether or not I realized it, I was comparing myself to someone else's, and it's not working.
Oh, that's so good. I love that one. Here's the thing. It can be not fun to think about what's not working, but I want to invite you to do it anyhow. Let yourself feel the regret. Let yourself feel even the frustration about that, because there is always growth and there's always healing on the other side of that. Hey gals, listen, we have an amazing treat for you. A lot of you were not able to come to the Recover event that we had this past September. And you asked and begged and pleaded and said, please, 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 will you put the audio recordings from that event on sale? And so we have had them produced and edited, and we have them ready for you to listen to. So if you couldn't be at our Recover event this past September, you now can pretend like you are there right now by getting the audio sessions from that event. It was incredible. It was an all-day coaching event for women on mission, and we talked about 4 different areas: recovering our God dreams, recovering our calling, recovering boundaries in our life, and recovering bravery. And we want to invite you right now to go to the link in our social media profiles or to look in the podcast notes of this episode to see how you can get that recover audio for yourself today. You can listen to the whole day and use that information to coach yourself over the holiday season and see what God reveals as you listen. All right, prompt number 3 for you to process the past year. What did work and why did it work? I have one large answer and that's it.
Okay, great.
This year, what worked for me is getting out of my comfort zone. There were a lot of things that I did this year by choice and not by choice that were very uncomfortable for me. There was a lot of times where I would be overwhelmed from the tip of my toes to the top of my head with like fear, honestly. Yeah. And what came out of that was new courage, new experiences, adventure, and most of all, I look back on 2022 and I think I lived. Like I showed up. I sat in meetings that scared me. I got on planes that scared me. I got on stages that scared me. I said no in ways that scared me. I said yes in ways that scared me. And I feel stronger and more ready for the future because of it.
That's good. That's good. I have 3 that I'm going to share. Mine are all very like strategic, practical things.
Love.
My first one, per my last answer, is an earlier bedtime. I just found that no matter how much I like being awake at night, when I go to bed early, the next day I have more energy and I'm less scattered and I'm all around just a better human. So earlier bedtime. My second one is reading for fun. This was the first year that I like really started actually like reading for fun and not like only reading books for like self-improvement, which I honestly don't really enjoy doing. And I think I don't enjoy it because that was all I was doing.
Yeah.
So reading for fun, reading things that are light and maybe on the surface don't look like they're like really bettering my mind. They are, by doing something that takes me away from screens and gives me something else practical to do that just really worked. And the last thing, and this might sound so silly, but I feel like there's a deeper meaning, is manicures.
It's not silly.
I really just realized that I feel put together and I feel like myself if I have my nails done. And my takeaway from that is it doesn't have to be manicures. I know that is not doable for everyone in their season with budget and time and everything else, but find something that you feel like helps you feel like you and helps you like get excited for your day. And so if that's like making sure you prioritize time for a bath at night or maybe painting your own nails or exercising or whatever that is, like making the time for that. So that's my third one.
I love that. That's really good. I when you declared that you were going to start getting manicures again, I was relieved. I was like, that's great.
I just felt like I was like doing myself some holy service by not doing it. And I realized I wasn't.
Cool. No, I like it. It was good. Get the nails done. Okay. This last prompt for you is also maybe not as fun as the other ones, but we want to invite you to think through what you can change and also what you can't change. And listing these things out actually will help you feel a lot of autonomy and a lot of authority and a lot of freedom, because noticing what we can't change, I think a lot of times, number one, makes us desperate for God to move and also helps us know that, okay, I can't change this particular circumstance, but I can change how I respond to it. And I want to work on that. So my examples are things I can change is I can revamp my Sabbath routine. I can work on my morning rhythms so I can get back in having more abundant time with God every morning. And I can make some decisions about my health for the coming year that will help me steward my health in a better way. Things that I can't change. I am going to be in my car for the next 3 to 4 years. That's happening. I am realizing with almost 4 teenagers, I'm just going for them to live and be and see people and step into this season of their life. I'm going to be in the car a lot. So I need to stop feeling a way about that and swallow that truth whole. The second thing that I really can't change is I have a lot of people in my life going through things that are really heavy right now. And I think remembering that I can't fix that, but I can change how I respond to it and how I prepare to love them well really helps me. And then lastly, you've heard us probably talk about this a little bit on the podcast, but we are in we're rounding the corner on a year-long process to get into our new office building.
That's not what we thought was going to happen.
It's not what we thought was going to happen. We signed a contract to buy a new commercial office space for Go and Tell Gals in March 2022. We thought we would be in the building by June 2022. It is currently December 2022, and we are not in that building yet. And so what I am acknowledging that I cannot change is the timeline of renovating and moving into a commercial space. Womp womp.
Womp womp. Sad but true.
Yes.
I really just have one that I'll share that is kind of like twofold. The biggest thing that came to mind is what I can't change is how my body physically feels, especially during the season of pregnancy.
That's good.
I can't control days that I feel sick or that like some part hurts or, whatever. It's just like a season of a lot of change and transition. And that has been something that is, it can be like difficult mentally when it's difficult physically, but I can change like certain things, like certain habits that I have or certain things that I'm doing. So like I can take care of myself and like do what I can to feel my best with sleeping well or like trying to sleep at night and staying active and exercising and trying to eat healthy food, because those are just things that I know will make me feel the best that I can. And so it just helps to put a little more perspective in it when I feel like there are proactive steps I can take.
Just for our podcast friends, I will say that you are handling pregnancy like a champ. You have the whole time, but you could not control vomiting in the car the other day.
I could not. We were driving to a work event and
Nick,
I could not control it.
Nick and Anna and I were driving to like an out of town business trip. Anna got pregnancy car sick in the car, but I will say that not in the car.
I didn't.
She held it until the side of the highway. And I have never laughed so hard. I felt for Anna, but I could not stop laughing at Nick because I've never heard someone tell them they were proud of them so much. Nick told Anna he was proud of her 10 times.
I felt like I was a Connolly child. That was like how much I was getting like affirmed.
I think 10 times he was like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You're doing such a good job. I can't believe you haven't thrown up in the car yet. Oh my gosh, I was so proud of you. Because she held that vomit the whole way until he could pull over. But then even as she was vomiting, he was like, oh, she's doing such a good job. I'm so proud of her.
That's a lot. Oh, man.
You're doing a great job responding to this thing that you cannot control.
Thank you. I'll receive that because there's just nothing else I can do right now.
We hope that these prompts have helped you process this past year. Hey, listen, next week we're going to talk about 4 steps to prepare for the next year. But don't listen to that podcast until you spend just a little bit of time processing your good, beautiful, hard, incredible, difficult, wild, gospel-filled 2022. We love you. We're thankful for you. God is mighty in you. Let's go. Thanks for joining us for today's podcast episode. We would be so blessed if you would take a minute to leave a review wherever you've listened to this podcast. You're also welcome and encouraged to share this on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you use social media. We'd also love to hear from you. DM us on Instagram or send us a message on Facebook, shoot us an email. We love to connect with you to hear how we can encourage you and further equip you. God is mighty in you. Let's keep going.